Ellie Conway is a talented but reclusive espionage novelist, author of the extremely popular Argylle series, touted as very realistic by many. While writing the last book, she suffers from writer's block and decides to go home. On her way, a mysterious man saves her from murder, discovering that what she has been writing mirrored the reality in one too many ways. Hello everyone, Luke Ripa here, and welcome to the Argylle review, the new Matthew Vaughn spy action comedy starring once again an insane cast. You probably heard of this movie. The trailer has played continuously in front of basically all other movies in every major theatrical franchise over the world, to the point it became a meme to how much it was annoying. The film also has been panned by critics, by fact influencing the status of yet another box office bomb for a blockbuster in the last 8 months or so. I'll start by saying this. I had a blast watching Argylle. I had a lot of fun, the action is superb, the unrealistic CG really fits the mood of the story and perfectly marries Matthew Vaughn's narrative style. However, the movie is quite flawed, but I don't think it's for the same reason most people have. Yes, the movie has an insane amount of twists, though luckily we never end up back to square one. After the first act, you can count around a twist every 10 minutes. Again, it's a lot and it might be problematic in a generation where people are used to TikTok's attention spans. So yeah, if you are one of those people who watches their phone during a movie, if you do so in a theater, remember there is a reserved spot for you in hell. You are not going to understand anything of what's going on. Also in general, an overload of twists can be annoying, not gonna lie. But the concept itself demands it. The confusing and overloading narrative is what makes Argylle, Argylle. That brings me to the second point. Argylle is part of a transmedia project that is quite absurd, but as much as it is unapologetically ambitious. Argylle is based on a series of books from the same name, written by someone who signs themselves as Ellie Conway, and in January the first book released. Where's the catch? Argylle, the movie, is based on the 4th book of the series, which hasn't been released, and in the movie Ellie Conway is writing the 5th book. On top of all of these, the project is part of a shared universe that includes multiple Marv, Matthew Vaughn's production company, properties. Which ones? One is revealed in the post-credit scene, the other I don't want to say because it might be spoilery, despite the director already said which one it is. Of course, you might be asking what all of this has to do with the review. Well, the crazy nature of Argylle transmedia narrative has to be known, at least conceptually assimilated, in order to try and appreciate the film, because otherwise it can be perceived as a nonsensical mess. But again, if you understand the intentions behind it and the long game Vaughn is playing with the idea, then maybe you can enjoy it. There is quite a bunch to enjoy in and of itself. Vaughn's direction might not be at its best, but it's bombastic and energetic nonetheless. Maybe to a fault, as sometimes what's happening on the screen is too much. For instance, when we are introduced to Sam Rockwell's Aiden, the fight arising from it is told through Bryce Dallas Howard's Ellie Conway's mind, and every time she blinks, Henry Cavill's Argylle, the characters from Ellie's novels, takes his place and it keeps going back and forth. The more the narrative advances, the more the intentions of that scene make sense, but I can't pretend I wasn't annoyed by that back and forth between two characters swapping places in the middle of an intense action sequence. In Vaughn's defense, it definitely makes you feel like the character feels, so as a filmmaker myself I understand it, but as a viewer it wasn't the best. Luckily no such moments are warranted anymore as the narrative evolves, yet this evolution brings everything to be more and more outlandish and cartoonish, becoming more and more over the top as more revelations and twists take place. More and more is indeed the concept of the movie's narrative, and sure it might be feeling overstuffed, but again that's part of the film's concept. It needed to feel too much, overwhelming and confusing. Of course, in order for Argylle to pull all of that off, it needed to have a knockout cast, and of course it has that. Bryce Dallas Howard is Ellie Conway. She starts as a writer, and the more the narrative advances, the more her arc becomes complex. Without revealing too much, she plays through the progressive nuances smartly and wisely. In short, a very strong performance. Sam Rockwell plays the real secret agent, Aiden, and he is hilariously but extremely solid per usual, having no problem juggling between over-the-top scenes and serious dramatic moments. Henry Cavill, John Cena, Dua Lipa, and Ariane DeBose play characters from the novel, and they are in it for a very short amount of time. All are entertaining, of course. Same goes for Samuel L. Jackson. Bryan Cranston and Catherine O'Hara play Ellie's parents, and they all do a pretty good and entertaining job. Of course, some of these roles will reveal to be not quite what they are, but my judgment on their acting takes that into account. Overall, I score Argylle with a solid 7.5 out of 10. Not Matthew Vaughn's best, but certainly entertaining as long as you expect an overstuffed adventure. That's it for this review. If you watched Argylle, let us know in the comments what you think about it. If you like this review, subscribe or follow to catch the next one. Just so you know, you can find Wekos on all social media. We are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok and Twitch. My name is Luke Ripa, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.